Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Weirdmobile. We transformed this 98 Honda Accord sedan into a two-door El Camino. Last episode, we fabricated our functioning tailgate from hinges from a 90s Camaro, and it actually worked. Today we go shopping for some steel, end up bringing home some 29.5-inch truck tires mounted up, and then, in order to make those fit, we use the rear suspension off the 7 Series and get about 4 to 5 inches of lift on the Weirdmobile. So we found these 4 used tires. They are 245 70R16. I already had these 16-inch 4-lug universal wheels from Fox Body Mustang, and the size that's on the car right now is a 205 55R16. So we're going to go into town and get these things mounted up and see how we can make them fit. So we're heading to Medina, and we're going to get these tires mounted up on our 16-inch wheels for the rear of the Weirdmobile. They're a 29.5-inch tire. We're going to need to lift the rear about, I think we figured out about 5 inches to fit these under.
Somewhere in and or around there.
So it should be looking pretty good. And while we're in town, we're also going to pick up some steel for the roof rack. Our first stop was over at Grizzly Tire, and we brought 3 of the wheels and 3 of the tires. It turns out one of the 4 tires had a plug in it, so we didn't want to use that one. After the tires were done, we drove around the corner to Standard to see what kind of steel they had on their scrap racks. We're looking for something we can use to make a roof rack, as well as a potential lift kit should we need it to fit those 29.5-inch tires. So being that this is a 29.5-inch tire, and this car came with 24-inch tall tires, we are going to need to raise this car up a little bit. Now we have this designed for our rudimentary rear lift kit here in this car. This will be the factory knuckle down here, and we're just going to build a metal spacer type sleeve that will raise the shock up. And that'll work, but then I often look over here at the 740i parts car and wonder if there's something we could use from that to help this out. And here's what we're thinking. This shock on the Accord is very much a lot smaller in diameter, and it's also only a 2-bolt. The one over here, which, mind you, this is a 4,400 pound car, is a much beefier unit. Look how big that is compared to the one in the Accord, and it has 3 bolts. So the top hats are definitely different, but we checked the diameter of the piston rod and it is the same. So thoughts are happening of taking the rear shocks off the 740i, getting a spring compressor, swapping out the top hats, and seeing if the shocks from the 740i with the springs and everything will fit the Accord. Well, the bushing sleeve was seized into the lower knuckle, so we had to cut that out. And although it looked pretty cool with no rear suspension, we couldn't get the jack out, so I had to make some suspension out of some 4x4 lumber. Perfect! Now we have new suspension for the Weirdmobile. After we got the 2 suspensions side by side, we realized that the BMW was actually a little bit shorter than the Accords, and the BMW's lower mounting hole was way too big. But hey, we came this far, so we might as well keep going and see what we can come up with. For example, we noticed that the Accord spring actually gets a little bit smaller at the top where it meets the top hat, and that is the same diameter as the BMW spring, which is much taller and much thicker. So now we're thinking we're just going to use the BMW spring, put it back on the Accord strut with the Accord top hat, and see what that gets us. And here's a side-by-side comparison of the springs. The BMW 7 Series is on the left, and the Honda Accord is on the right.
Here's our BMW shock and spring right here. We got them all dissected, and this was the spring and shock from the Weirdmobile. So we're kind of mix matching, seeing what works. This is the damper from the BMW, the actual like spring mount.
Yeah, so we've got both bottom isolators, the Accord with the BMW on top, and then we're going to toss on the beef there from the BMW.
Goes up over top here, and then we got our top hat. It's gonna go up here.
The spring is much taller and much heavier duty, so
we got a lot more beef there.
this thing should be sitting up higher alone from that, and of course riding a lot stiffer. So let's piece this thing together and see how she works.
See what happens.
Turns out we need to trim a little bit off the front of the wheel wells to get those big tires to fit. So we haven't dropped the car down yet. We're about to do this, and we walked behind it, and here's a good comparison of before and after. A 29.5-inch tire versus a 24-inch tire. And we've trimmed our rocker guard here to give us a little bit extra space.
Cancer patient.
Yep. Keep in mind, we got a lot of extra weight on the side with the 29-inch tire. It should be a little bit higher once both sides have the same size tire. Now, if you're wondering why we're not lifting the front as well, if you recall, the front suspension is a little out of whack from some of those big jumps early on in the car's life. The wheels push back pretty far in the wheel well, so we don't want to go anything too crazy in the front because there's no way we're going to be able to align this thing afterwards. But we might try and find a way just to make some sort of a spacer to get maybe an inch of lift. These big tires are purely cosmetic. We're not actually going to do any serious off-roading in this thing. So, on to the other side.
I mean, I know I threw it together and all, but dang, I kind of just didn't give a fuck. Wow, I don't even remember. I was probably really fucking drunk when I did that, though. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, so our sway bar is one mount short now. Not sure if it has to do with the massive flex from the 29.5-inch tire on that side, but we'll leave it right here shortly. There's our new base for our brush guard. Like the tip is actually longer than the canister, the muffler. So
that was from the Talon, dude.
oh my gosh, look at these brakes. These are awful. Oh, that hole's not supposed to be there. Well, neither one. We didn't get so lucky on the passenger side. The nut that held on the top hat was completely rusted on, and the little hex in the middle stripped out, so time for the cutting torch to heat it up. Then to top things off, when we finally got it installed, the spring somehow slipped off the bottom isolator, so we fixed that with Mikey's foot.
Back up there. That works.
So there is 29.5-inch tires on the 98 Honda Accord. We didn't even need to make a lift kit thanks to the rear springs from the 740i. Even without center caps, ARE wheels still look a little bit too nice for the Weirdmobile, so I sprayed them with some matte black custom wrap to make it look a little bit more rugged. That is it for today. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for next episode of Weirdmobile as we continue to get this car ready for the Gambler 500.